I'm YZ. I transformed myself from a state of serious social anxiety to doing more than 1,000 cold approaches and finally going out with girls. In this video, I'll share with you the exact framework which helped my students, Xingmei and Kai, get girls' Instagrams and finally get attraction from girls through my guide, which I wish I had, my own 2-part primal ancestry seduction framework. Primal rule. Primal rule means you need to approach the girl within 3 seconds of spotting her. And it's important because if you approach her after 3 seconds, you will overthink exactly what to say, which makes your interactions go horrendously. If you approach her within 3 seconds, you are in a clear state of mind and you approach her, the interaction goes so much better. It relates to approaching girls when you're socially anxious, because when you're socially anxious, it results in very bad interactions. So if you just see her within 3 seconds and you just blurt out the first sentence you feel like saying, trust your intuition, just say it. Because the moment you say it, at least you said something. And saying something is better than actually saying nothing. Even if she gives a bad reaction, it's not your fault because you at least tried to say something, which means you took action. And as long as you take action, it's a let's go man, let's go! In the caveman days, the alpha male of the group would approach any girl that he wanted within 3 seconds. For example, let's say if there's a cave woman that he actually wanted, he saw her within 3 seconds, he just walks up to her. This is key, by the way. Walk up to her and just say the first sentence that comes towards your mind. It could be as simple as, hey, I like your outfit. And then from there, see how she responds. And from there, you can start an easy conversation. But the issue is most people struggle with the first step, which is getting out there and at least saying something. So I'm going to discuss some common issues which most people face. The first one is that they think it's creepy to approach the girl. But in fact, it's creepier if you don't approach the girl. Because think about this. Let's say you don't approach her within 3 seconds and you're just staring at her and now you approach her after 5 minutes. The girl obviously knows that you want to speak to her or you didn't speak to her, so she thinks you're a creep. At least when you approach within 3 seconds, now she's like, okay, at least you have guts, and girls respect that heavily. The next common issue which most people have is that they're not sure how to start the conversation. Here's what you do. You go up to her, right? You don't look at her directly. You stand by her side. So let's say she's here, right, and you're here, okay? And from there, you just say the first sentence which comes to your brain. For me, it's talking about her outfit or her accessories, or just saying, hey, I think you look really cute. And even if she has like a bad reaction, at least you tried. And you showed that you have balls, and she respects that you have balls. And let's say if it went bad, just say this, have a nice day, take care, just walk away like an absolute boss. The actionable step is to force yourself to speak to the girl within 3 seconds of the interaction. The next step is in fact more important than the first step, primal visualization. Primal visualization means they are able to visualize the whole entire interaction before you get into it. And it's very important because if you could do so, you are indirectly telling your brain, okay, this is exactly what's going to happen, and you're preparing it for what's going to happen, even if it could go to the worst possible scenario. So you see how you're preempting your brain to be able to be prepared for the battles ahead of you. It's like warming up before the gym. Before you go to the gym, you have to lift some weights when you warm up. It's the exact same logic right here. It relates to approaching girls when you're socially anxious, because when you're socially anxious, it often comes from you just fearing what the other person has to say. Because often when you're socially anxious, it often comes from you fearing about things that are out of your control, correct? Like what the girl says, what other people think about you. But if let's say you could visualize the whole entire interaction and visualize what you're going to say and visualize how it's going to play out and how you're going to deal with it, it makes you doubly prepared in the whole entire interaction. Back in the caveman days, every single caveman, before they went into the interaction, they had a rough blueprint, a mind map of how the interaction should be. And therefore, when they go into the interaction, it is smoother because they've already preempted themselves to warm up. It's the same thing here in modern day life. However, there are still some common issues which most people face. The first common issue is that they think that this visualization thing is just a voodoo, it just doesn't work. But in fact, the more you visualize something and not overthink it, so you visualize the interaction and you sort of prepare yourself for the emotions that you're going to go through when you go into the interaction, it in fact makes your mind sharper because you have a clearer understanding of the situation. A next common mistake which most people have is that they think that this should not be done and it should just be done in real life, which means that they think that they should only go into interactions with girls and not visualize how it should be going. It's a very big flaw because when you go into an interaction and you don't visualize it, you don't have a understanding of how it's going to end up. And in fact, you're the guy, so you're leading the interaction. If you want the girl to perhaps be your girlfriend or to find a wife quality girl, you need to become the man who does the deciding move, which is to lead the interaction. The actionable step for this part of the video is to visualize every single component of the interaction in your head before you enter the interaction. And the thing is, I can understand if you're extremely overwhelmed through the amount of information I just threw at you. But the truth is, I wasn't actually so socially confident in the past. Back in March 2022, I was stuck in the worst states of my whole entire life. Cold sweats in air-conditioned rooms, no one believing in me, betrayal from other friend groups, skinny as shit, insecure, I was gonna retain this year. I was so heavily addicted to porn, video games, social media, jacking out constantly, constantly looking at girls that I can't even meet in real life, eating junk food every single day, talking shit about others, and taking absolutely no responsibility for my life. I could not even do a single push-up or run 400 meters without stopping. And I could not even speak to a single individual without having cold sweat dripping down from my back. So I understand how it exactly feels like to be stuck in this state. But after 4 months of trial and error, through doing the things which I spoke about in this video, I actually got free of that horrible state of life. And I want to show you that it's possible to get out of this state. I'm sure you had enough, right? You had enough of the mindset of saying, oh, Asians shouldn't co-approach. Oh, it's so bad to be social. No, we as Asians, we had enough. We had enough of saying, okay, Asians should not be social. Because you want to be social, correct? You see that girl you want to speak to, you want to speak to her. So it's time for all of us to decide to give it our best to find the wife quality woman. Because instead of just thinking, when is the woman going to come to us? In fact, we go to the woman and now we see whether she's actually compatible to be wife quality. So you see how here is just a simple mindset shift can just change your whole entire life, your whole entire destiny, and in fact changes you to become the best version of yourself. Because you're special for watching this video, because it's the destiny that this video was presented to you to destroy the crippling social anxiety which you have been feeling for so many years of your life, so you can finally speak to people, speak to beautiful girls, and have amazing friendships and relationships. So it's time for all of us to decide to change the mindset in saying that it is possible for Asians to be social. And as always, watch this video right here where I'll be teaching you how I destroyed my crippling social anxiety for 18 years of my life and how you can do it too. The action, bro. Cheers.